Welcome back to another section. We're going to have a look at variables. A variable is like a storage container for data. It holds information that we can use and can be manipulated. We use variables to store values like numbers, text, or even entire list of data. Now, here is a simple example of declaring a variable in JavaScript. Now, let name equal to Alice. Now, name right here is our variable name, and Alice is the data or the value stored in the variable. Now, console.log is basically us printing the value of the name to the console. So if I hit Ctrl Enter, you can see on our console Alice is printed out. Now we also have another way of creating a variable. We could use another keyword called var to create a variable, but in this case we are using the keyword let to create a variable. There is a difference between both of them, and we're going to explore that as well. So let's say var age, and I'm going to say 25. Now we can do console log. Now what do you think will happen when we print this on our screen? We're going to have Alice, and we're also going to have age, which is 25. So let's run, and you can see Alice, and you can also see 25, which is the age. Now, what exactly is the difference between using let or using var to create a variable? Now, the issue with var is that it can be redeclared within the same scope, and it could lead to bugs. Let's say we have var age 25 here. We could also create another var age again and redeclare the value to be maybe 20. Now in this case we have var age 25, we have another var age 20, so we are redeclaring the variable name age and then setting it to 20 after we've already declared it to be 25. In this case, it is going to replace the var age 25 with var age 20. So what do you think is going to happen here? It is going to print 20 instead of 25 because we first declared age as 25, and secondly we declared it as 20. So if you don't know you've created that variable before and then you recreate it again, it is going to work fine, and by the time we run this code you can see the age is now 20 instead of 25, which it was initially. This is why we use let. If we do the same thing with let's say we set the name to Alice the first time, and then we set the variable name to, let's say, Tema the second time. Let's remove var for now. Now if I save and run this, what do you think would happen? You can see identifier name has already been declared. This means the variable name has already been declared and set to Alice, so we cannot use the same variable name to store values again. This is more like saying we are creating the same variable again and adding a new value to that variable. So in this case it is not going to work. We are going to have an error. This prevents accidental override. So this way you know there is already a variable name named name. Next time you could probably use something else instead of name. But if you want to change the value of the variable name, you could simply remove let and just type in name equal to Tema. This time you're saying, hey, I know there is a variable named name, but I want to replace the value of that variable to Tema. So you're not redeclaring, you're not recreating a new variable here. You're only changing the data inside that variable. So now if we hit run, we can see that the result here is Tema, which is basically changing the value of the variable name to Tema, but we are not redeclaring it again. So we would prefer using let for variables than using var. So that is one of the differences between var and let. Now there are some variable naming rules and best practice. A variable can contain letters, numbers, underscore, or $sign. So instead of name we could have name with a number, uppercase, lowercase. It all works fine. We could even add dollar to it, and this should be fine. A variable cannot start with a number. We can have name 123, but we can't have 123 name. So if we run this, we are going to get an error. You can see invalid or unexpected token. That is because we started the variable name with 123. But if we have name 123, this is going to work just fine. Next, a variable is case sensitive. So if I do name123, this is different from capital N name123. These two are different variables. Name123 is different from name123. Let's try print that out. So name123, first one should be Tema, and capital name123 should be Alice. So if I run this, you can see Tema is being printed out. That is because name is with lowercase n. Now if I change the name to uppercase N, save and run, you can see the name is Alice. So variables are case sensitive, so make sure to take note of that. And I would recommend you use camel case for readability. So if you want to specify username, you could say user and name starts with capital N. If you want to specify age, you could say user and then age. This is recommended for naming variables, and this is called camel case. I would also advise you use descriptive names. So instead of saying X, we could just say user age. This way, someone that is working with your code knows you are trying to name a variable for a user age instead of just specifying a random keyword. In JavaScript, we can join strings using the plus operator. Let's say we have a variable with first name set to Tema and last name set to Etechbox. Let full name. Now full name is supposed to be Tema, and then there is a space, and then there is Etechbox. So this way we have to add Tema and Etechbox together. So full name in this case is going to be first name plus, which is the operator, and then we are going to add an empty string with space inside, and then plus again, and then we have last name. Now let's run. Okay, so we need to also print it out. So console.log, and then we are printing out full name, which is the concatenation of the first name and the last name. Now if we run, we can see Tema Etechbox. So let me explain what's going on here. We have the first name variable set to Tema, we have the last name variable set to Etechbox, and we have the full name variable, which is set to the first name plus a set of quotes, and then the plus operator again, and then the last name. This is concatenation, string concatenation, combining strings together. The first name is a string and the last name is a string. We're using this operator to add them together. Now if I get rid of these quotes and we just have first name plus last name, this is going to print fine, but the difference is that there is no space between them. So you can see Tema Etechbox, and that works just fine. But to add spacing between them, we added a quote and then we added a space between them. There is also another way for adding strings together, and this might even be easier for you. We can use template literal for better readability. So instead of using the plus operator, we could just say $ and then specify the variable name in curly braces. So we have first name and then we space $ curly braces and last name, but then we have to wrap this in backtick, which is the key before 1 on your keyboard. Now if we run, you can see Tema Etechbox. Now you could even add text between, maybe let's say Tema and then there is YouTube. This is just a normal text in between. Save and run. You can see Tema YouTube Etechbox. This is called template literal, and this is for better readability, but you could go with the first option. Now let's have a look at counting characters in JavaScript. So let's say I have first name set to Tema and I want to count how many characters does the variable first name have. In this case, Tema has 5 characters. So instead of printing console.log full name, we are going to print full name.length. By specifying length, we are going to get the length of our variable. So let's run. Oh, we have to set this to first name since that is the variable. And you can see the result is 5, and that is because we have 5 characters in the variable first name. Next, we are going to look at extracting parts of a string in JavaScript. Let's say we have a variable called sentence, and the content is JavaScript is awesome. Let's also say we want to extract the first 10 characters, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we want to extract the word JavaScript, which is the first 10 characters. We are going to create a new variable called word, and inside that variable we're going to have sentence, which is our variable up here, dot slice, and then we're going to specify two values inside these brackets. The first value is where it starts from, and the second value is where it ends at. So in JavaScript, we start counting from 0, which is the start point. So J here is at point 0, A is at point 1, V is at point 2, just like that. That is how we count in JavaScript and many other programming languages. So we're going to specify 0, comma, and then the endpoint, which is what? 10. So by specifying 0, comma 10, it is starting from 0, which is the first character, and it is going to end at 9, which is the last character. It is not going to include 10. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is going to exclude 10 because counting starts from 0, and it's going to exclude the last number right here. Now if we print word, console.log word, and then run, you can see the results in our console. JavaScript is being printed out. That is because we are slicing the first to the 10th character. Now if you omit the second argument, slice dot end, which is the ending part of this, so if we specify just 0, it's going to start from 0 and then the end of to the end of the string. So if I run this, you can see JavaScript is awesome. If I specify, let's say 10 here, it is going to start from 10, which we know is this space in here, and run down to the end, which is just going to be is awesome. If we run this, so you can see space and then is awesome. Now we also have negative index as well. Let's say I specify -8. What is going to happen is basically it is going to count 8 from the right, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is going to start from A here, from awesome down to the end. So if I run this, we are going to get awesome, and that's what you can see in our console. And that is because we are running with a negative index -8. So you could use a positive index, you could use a negative index as well. Now let's take a recap at what we've learned. We've learned that let is safer than using var for naming a variable because it has block scope. We've also learned that we should use camel case to name variables and also avoid starting with numbers. We also learned that concatenation or combining strings can be done with the plus operator or template literals. We also learned that .length gives the number of characters in a string. We've also learned that you can use slice and then specify the start and end to extract parts of a string. So this is all on JavaScript variables.